Bible Realities. Ron Craig here again, sharing with you the second part of this lesson on Bible answers to the dinosaur question. In the first part, we went over several scriptures to show that there was some kind of social system on this earth before Adam and Eve were created. Genesis 1 verse 2 shows the destruction of that system and whatever was included in it. That was a time when Lucifer fell, about a third of the angels fell with him, and there was some kind of human-like forms on this earth that Satan ruled over, Lucifer ruled over before his rebellion in that system. But he rebelled, and God had to destroy that system, and that's what we find in Genesis 1 verse 2. And in verse 3, God started over again, renovating the earth and bringing it back to the way he wanted it to be. Well, spirits don't go out of existence. Angels are spirits. Demons are spirits. They don't get annihilated. They don't go out of existence. They still exist, but they became evil. God did not create them evil, but they became evil. And there was a carryover, therefore, into this realm after Adam was created, in the realm that we live in today, this world that we live in today. So in this lesson, we're going to go through several scriptures to show how that evil spirit carryover from that pre-Adamite system on this earth affects the world today. We start in Genesis 6, 1 through 4. When men began to multiply on the earth, and daughters were born to them, the sons of God, that had to be angels, the Bible is very clear about that in other scriptures. The sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves from among them. We see throughout Scripture that angels will take on human form. Abraham was met by God and two angels. They were in human form. They ate. He cooked a meal for them. So angels can take on human form, and some of these evil angels did that, but they married earthly women, and as a result had giant children, offspring from them. They took wives for themselves, and the Lord said, "My spirit will not strive with man forever, for man is indeed flesh. Yet his days will be 120 years. Some people misunderstand this scripture to mean that the lifespan of a human being should be 120 years. But this was said about people who lived at that time 5, 6, 7, 8, 900 years. So he's not talking about the lifespan of human beings, but he's talking about how long God was going to allow man to continue in his rebellion after Adam, remember, before the flood of Noah would come and wipe them all out, except those who would be in the ark. Yet his days will be 120 years before Noah's flood. And because the sons of God, angels, came into the daughters of men in human form, there were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterward. All of them were destroyed in Noah's flood, but afterward, obviously, some other angels did the same thing and created more giants through earthly women, such as Goliath was in David's day. There were giants again on earth by the same process. And we're told about that in Jude 6. Some of the angels that did not keep their proper or first estate or proper domain, but left their original habitation or their form and purpose, God reserved in everlasting chains under darkness for the judgment of the great day. In other words, those angels that took on human form and cohabited with women and had giant offspring, God incarcerated those angels in a place called Tartarus in the Greek, and they're in chains of darkness until the judgment of the great day. Obviously, not all the angels who fell did that, because there are angels still loose in the earth today, many of them, and they're ruling in the heavenlies, as we find out later. But some of them did that, cohabited with women and had giant offspring from them, and those angels are in Tartarus today. This is what Jude 6 says. In Matthew 8, 28 through 32, we read, "When he, Jesus, had come to the other side of the Sea of Galilee, unto the country of the Gergesenes, there met him two demon-possessed men, Demons are always looking for human bodies they can possess. This is the way they express themselves. This is the way they can get things done. Demons can't just do harm by floating around in space. They have to have a human being who has authority on this earth so that they can misguide the human being to do bad things, evil things, harmful things, and that's the way they express themselves. So there met Jesus 2 demon-possessed men coming out of the tombs, exceedingly fierce, so that no one could pass that way. And suddenly they cried out, saying, "What have we to do with you, Jesus, Son of God? Have you come here to torment us before the time?" Demons know that they're going to be cast into the lake of fire forever and ever, but they believe they have a certain time period before that'll happen. They were wondering if Jesus had changed that time period and had come to torment them before the time. That was their concern. But a good way off from them, there was a herd of many swine feeding. I think there were about 2,000. So the demons begged Jesus, saying, "If you cast us out, permit us to go away into the herd of swine." Demons want to possess some kind of body, some kind of physical body, and if humans are not available, then they would try pigs, but we'll see what happened. So Jesus told them to go. And when they had come out of the men, they went into the herd of swine, and suddenly that whole herd of swine ran violently down the steep place into the sea, and they perished in the water. They drowned. So even pigs don't want to be demon-possessed. Demons pollute everything that they possess. Jesus gave us further explanation in Matthew 12, verses 43 through 45. When an unclean spirit goes out of a man, remember the demons came out of these 2 men and went into the pigs, and Jesus said when that happens, when an unclean spirit, a demon, goes out of a man, he goes through dry places seeking rest, but finds none. Demons obviously used to have bodies of their own. They're departed spirits from some kind of creature from the past. God did not create them demons. He did not create them evil. He did not create them unclean, but they became unclean. They obviously used to have bodies of their own, so they seek to possess bodies of somebody else so they can express themselves. When that unclean spirit goes out of a man, he goes through dry places, which means there's no water outside of the human beings where the demons roam about. It's a dry place. There's no rest. It's not comfortable. It's part of God's judgment of them. So then that demon says to himself, "I'll return to my former house," the human being. In other words, I'll see what's going on and see if I can get back in. "I'll return to my former house from which I came." And when he comes back to that man, his former house, obviously to evaluate the situation, because he doesn't know if he can repossess him or not, but he finds his former house, the man, empty, swept, and put in order. In other words, instead of the man being free from the demon, filling himself with godly things, he's just empty. He just exists, and the demon finds him in that condition. And therefore, the demon goes and takes with him 7 other unclean spirits more wicked than himself. They're unclean spirits. But the demon can't just go get back in the man at any time he wants to, but he has to have a lot of help to get back in the second time. And they enter and dwell in that man as their home, and the man can't do anything to get rid of them that second time. When God delivers you, don't play around with it. Don't take it for granted. Fill yourself with the things of God. If you remember that man who was at the pool, crippled for 38 years, something like that, Jesus healed him. And Jesus told him, "Go and sin no more, lest a worse thing come upon you." And that's what he talks about right here. The last state of that man is worse than the first. Then the Lord said, "So will it be also with this wicked generation," talking about the Jews who had rejected their Messiah's words and ministry. So we're seeing a picture from the Scriptures how that evil spirit carryover from that pre-Adamite system, social system, whatever it was for a long time evidently, how it affects our present world system before Jesus comes again and changes that to a better system. Therefore, we see in Ephesians 6:12 Paul's explanation of that. He kind of touches on that subject right here. We do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. So demons possess human beings. Fallen angels rule in the heavens over kingdoms, as we'll see in another lesson. God did not create demons as demons or fallen angels as fallen angels. He created them good, and they rebelled to become fallen. So the demons are departed spirits, either from the characters, the personalities, the beings that existed before Adam was created, or possibly the spirits of those giants when they died, who were half human and half angel. I'm not sure how that would work. It could be that demons are come from that realm, or from before the realm before Adam was created. But they're evil, and they're here, and they're from some former system, and they negatively affect the system that we live in today. In the third and final part of this lesson, we're going to look into the scriptures that show tell about the Noah's flood and some details about that, and prove from the scriptures themselves that dinosaurs could not have been on the ark. Dinosaurs did not live after Adam. They were not part of that creation after Genesis 1-2. They were part of some previous creation, some pre-Adamite system on this earth, and we'll see that from the scriptures. That will be the third part and final part, completing this picture of how the Bible shows and gives answers to the dinosaur question. And that's the way it really is.